saw the storm before we felt the rain. Does your judgment don't miss nobody? Not then, not now. Oh, oh. From Zion came that voice, heavy like a lion's roar. Most High calling out the nation, settling every score. Gaza, Damascus tide, he said, I remember what you done. Fire gon' meet your strongholds when the reckoning comes. Ain't no hiding from the truth when the trumpet begins. He said, for 3 transgressions, and yeah, for 4 I ain't holding it in. Judgment rolling in like thunder on the plain. Ain't no peace when wicked men keep playing with.
Good evening. Washington is in flames, New York is reeling, and across the globe, people have dropped to their knees.
The man at the center of it all remains unidentified, but his arrival has already changed.
They once called her the land of the free. But the book spoke of a mighty empire, proud and unrepentant, a modern Egypt with hearts of stone. And the signs would come upon her. Rivers turned to blood, swarms.
The seal has been broken.
Plagues upon the land, and the night grew still.
Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Joys and tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation. Picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. Salvation. Yeah. We in captivity. We done lost our history. Disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets. Walking in darkness and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures. Murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle. Showing fruits of the spirit, we don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying.
My name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright. Okay? Listen, the workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay? Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay? So, let me meet you on the money-making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy, Chef D-Nail, over here at Guess Who's Cooking. Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And of course, we got the world famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773-992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday, all right? And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2. All right. You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking. And, of course, on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down. Get your orders.
Shame I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and be a light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't top my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
Look, psychological warfare and propaganda. False flags they broadcast on news cameras. Cancer in the bone, cell phones cause damage. But I put holes in the street like caterpillar jackhammers. I hate a Masonic fake prophet, so I gotta wave the Glock in your face, won't hesitate to pop it. This whole place demonic, that's why the plague bubonic. I've been hot since Pac and Dr. Dre the chronic. Illuminate the dark, my style state of the art. Like a laser that's razor sharper than taser darts. I don't play, I gotta make my mark. I used to shake the knocks, the plug with the iron and spray starch. Shady sharks eat the baby's heart. Drink adrenochrome and thirst for first blood. Sylvester Stallone, Toby, runaway slave in Saucony. I ain't your homie, the clown. I put a ring around your Rosie. Ashes to ashes, they fall down below me. No pocket full of posies, I only chop it with OGs. No Alexanders and Ptolemies. Vance and Trump, I put the pump to Pelosi. COVID disease, noses bleed. Choke you with your rosary beads and put your throne under siege. This your takeover. Seagull like Steve. In dark territory, I'ma shine cause sunbeams. Truthfully, I'm the illest in truth musically. I'm no Julio Foolio, I sound like Schoolie D. That's why they charge me with treason. Look how I do fake Jews, Hebrews up heathens. Conquering demons, bobbing and weaving. The mark of the beast with Psalms and Ephesians. Keep busting till the locking is screeching. Ark of the Covenant, uncovering government secrets. Better believe it, this the Pledge of Allegiance. You paraplegic, I shattered the phoenix. Like a spinal cord, I'm back in all black, squeezing the crack semen. Need nothing with caffeine in it.
Yeah. Ashia, Micah Allah, Gabar Ash, HUI soldiers. The 2/3 going crazy, mentally bugging. The 1/3 waiting for your Howard Shah second coming. The world's going topsy-turvy like the Titler. Confused that the bitter is sweet, it's bitter. But the hand of the righteous man is gonna get him. That's your Howard Shah come to destroy the white man system. You don't know the half or can figure out the math. When your Howard Shah blow for the fire from his wrath. All praises due to your Howard the power. The most high, the father, rock Yasharala. Bring the judgment, manifest biblical prophecy. Murder, death, killing the earth against our enemies, staying strong, not weak, weary, and feeble. Ride for your Howard Shah and my peoples, staying in the truth, Lord willing, till I'm devoured. I'm gonna hide, but ride and die for your Howard.
Yo, how about I die for my God and the Howard Shah? At the times of the wicked, he electrifies, sanctify all my people that was meant to fly, petrify all the demons that was meant to fry. Heathen nations in our hoods will gentrify, perpetual hatred, Lord, let me clarify. And 62-35, and I verify. Lord, sheep under Howard, then we edify. Liquefy, identify, maybe specify, intensify all the other nations that he terrifies. The Bible scriptures kill you bugs like insecticide. Killing nothing, he do children like it's pesticide. You other nations think you're good cause you stepped aside. Chariots and earthquakes come to rectify. Killing all I do with your Lord genocide. And gotta answer your power when I testify.
Second Esdras 15 and 11. All the innocent blood cries. The Lord heard the blood. Now it's time. The judgment is here. The judgment is here. The judgment of Eleanor Bumford. The judgment of Michael. The judgment of all the brothers that suffered. Emmett Till is here now. You ain't gonna escape the judgment of the Lord. God is bringing this judgment. The tornadoes, the floods, the hurricanes. This is all of God. We ain't gonna stop. The Lord is gonna bring this judgment. God's judgment is on the earth. This is the time. As it said, thy kingdom is end. Thy kingdom has come to end. The Lord hears all the cries, from the cries of all the righteous blood that have suffered in America. All the brothers and sisters that have suffered in America. All the brothers and sisters that have been raped, that have murdered, that have been robbed. Now is your time. Your time has come, America. You have to deal with the God. You have to deal with the power of God. Now is your judgment come. You can't escape it. You can't escape the floods. You can't escape the tornadoes. You can't escape the destruction. The Lord is on you. The Lord is on you. World War III is on you. All the destruction of God's people. You gotta pay. All praises. Form Yashala.
Yeah. Come on.
Living.
Bring it.
We gon' ride for your power.
Yeah.
As we pray, lead the way. Lord, your power shine. As we pray for the fall of America.
Praise our God. Call his name. One
living.
Come on.
We gon' ride for your power. As we pray, lead the way. Lord, living.
Scream his name, baby.
We gon' ride for your power.
Yeah.
As we pray, lead the way. Lord, living.
Live it, baby.
We gon' ride for your power.
Come on.
As we pray, lead the way. Lord, your power shine. As we pray for the fall of America.
Come on.
Living.
Yeah.
We ride for your power.
Come on.
Lead the way, Lord, your Howard shine. As we pray for the fall of America.
Come on.
Man, listen. Man, New York got the rap game so vicious. You know what I'm saying? So that is HOI NYC, New Jersey. Yeah, bars.
That's
All
right.
You know what I'm saying? Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Mashiach Yahushai. This class is called The Plagues of Egypt. All right. I'm your host, Kasadia, HOI Philadelphia. And my swordsman today is
Shakanya, HOI-ATL.
Yeah, ATL Philly connection. You already know what it is.
That's right.
You know, so we are going to begin with the Lord's Prayer. So you want to bow your head for reference, face the east. We're going to get started. This is the Lord's Prayer in ancient Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malafaka, Thaba'a, Ratazayaka, Haya, Aisha, Balrataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Natananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Nawa, Kasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Yanawa, Wala'a, Dabe Yanawa, Banasai one, Abo, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wata Palaraf, Liwalunyam, Amen. That's the Lord's Prayer. That's in Paleo Hebrew. You can find that in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. All right. See, yeah, you know it's a so-called New Year's Eve playing ghetto games. Are they gunshots or fireworks? Yes, as good as mine. 9 times out of 10, though, you in the hood, it's gonna be some gunshots.
Unfortunately.
You know what I'm saying? So you might be hearing that in the background. But you know, if you're here, you know what I mean, that's all praise to the Most High, because a lot of people are, you know, living in the days of Noah, eating, drinking, partying, doing all these things while America is systematically being dismantled by God. You know what I'm saying? Who the world ignorantly calls God, Yahweh, and his son, Hamashiach Yahushai. You know what I'm saying? So best place you could be is right here reading the word. You know what I'm talking about? So we of course it says Fair Use Act in the beginning of the video. Just want to reiterate that Fair Use Act. Okay. We're gonna looking at some things that's going on in the world. The plagues of Egypt back on the earth. You know what I'm saying? And there's really nothing anybody can do about it. You know, the best thing you can do about it, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, is follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments so you can escape the judgment that is clearly taking place across the four corners. All right. Let's start with a scripture that's important in this, because you can see the parallel between ancient Egypt and modern day Egypt. All right. So that's in 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 11. All right. No need to go out, you know, to some club overpriced. You know what I mean? $50 to get in, $100 to get in. Drinks $20, $30, watered down. You know what I'm saying? You celebrating a new year in the middle of winter, dead in the middle of winter. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna wake up, you're gonna think somebody robbed you because you was buying everybody drinks. You know what I'm saying? And that's if the Most High allows you to make it home. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not gonna make it home. A lot of people will be stuck. You know, their friends gonna leave them. They're gonna be too intoxicated to find out where they're at. They're gonna get robbed. They might get left. Angel might pick them up and just drop them in the middle of the water. This is what happens. You know what I'm saying? So to avoid all that, open up your Bible, take your pen and pad out, and let's talk about what's happening throughout the earth. Khan, you can bring it out.
God, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, in the Apocrypha, beginning at verse 11. But I would bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues, as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
Kind of key word, as before. So it's going to strike Egypt with plagues, right? This is modern day Egypt. Okay, this has 25%. America has 25% of the world's incarcerated, the amount of people incarcerated in the world, 25% are in America. You know what I mean? America has what, 300 plus million citizens, people that live here, right? India has 1 billion. China has 1 billion. 25% of the world's incarcerated people are in America. Okay, the war on drugs in our neighborhoods, so it's constant police oversight. You know what I mean? A lot of people going to jail or probation and parole, you know, violators might have a drug problem, came out, did their time, now they're on probation or parole, and you know, they have a drug problem, so they failed the drug test. So instead of getting help for the drug test, it's like, or not drug test, for the drug addiction, send them back to jail, send them back to prison. You know what I mean? People on ankle monitors. It is big business in America. You know what I'm saying? From the time our ancestors were enslaved, 13th Amendment happened. They said you're still enslaved if you commit a crime. Okay? So when you look at the judges, the lawyers, the stenographers, the COs, the buildings, the GEO, the Wackenhut, it is big business. This is on stock markets. You know, it's just traded on stock. You know what I mean? If I get a lot of people that come in my jail, then my price of my stock goes up. They have contracts with states. I know Arizona being one of them. Contract with a state that says you, the state, have to provide me with 80% occupancy rate. So 80% of my beds have to be filled. If not, you pay me for those beds that aren't filled. So it is the state's best interest to lock people up. Who are you going to lock up? People that don't have money for lawyers, people that don't have money for bail. You know what I mean? People that you feel you can get over on. And that will be 9 times out of 10 in America, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are living in modern day Egypt. 2 million people right now are incarcerated in America. Okay? So he says, I'm going to plague you like I plagued ancient Egypt. Okay? And will destroy all the land thereof. This place got to go. So we're going to talk about it. All right. Let's go to the first video. Matter of fact, what we got here? Look at that. Some estimates putting the total system revenue over $70 billion a year, while inmates earn very little, often less than $1 an hour. And that's very important too. It's literally slavery. So building up JCPenney's, Walmart's, Targets, all those, you know, you get like a desk. You're like, oh, well, I wonder who put this desk together. Inmate number 4, 5, 7, 8. You know what I'm saying? It used to be people like, oh, just license plates and stuff like that. Nah, it's helmets for war. It's desks. It's your lamps. You know what I'm saying? The things that you buy in the store. It's the inmates that make them and put them together.
Salaki.
Con, go ahead.
Hey, even they do glasses too, prescription glasses.
Con. Look at that. Pretty much everything you can think of, because what morality does America have? Like, oh, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're not going to make them make baby carriages. You know, we're not going to make them put together TVs. Anything that they can do to make money and at the same time oppress God's chosen people, that's what they're going to do. That's what they did. That's what they did. And that's what they continue to do. All right. This is modern day Egypt, the house of bondage.
That's right.
25%. Think of that. A quarter of the world's incarcerated individuals are in the land of the free. You got to make that make sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, it's all lies, all propaganda. And that's why you have the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. They understand this is ancient Egypt. They understand it's run off of oppression and slavery and incarceration. They understand that, okay? And that's something that we have to understand so we can combat this. You know what I mean? Do everything in your power not to get locked up. If you follow the law, statutes, commandments, you're not going to be out here robbing and stealing and shooting people and losing your temper. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be treating your brother as you want to be treated. You're not just going to be beating your wife because she looked at you funny, or you drunk and, it's New Year's and you're upset and you just want to beat somebody up. So you beat up close people. No, if you follow the law, statutes, commandments, you're going to love your wife. You're going to love your children. You know what I mean? Not going to be following after these wicked holidays. Because think about it. The wine and spirits is out tonight, man. Everybody's drunk. There's going to be so many car accidents and people not even knowing where they at. Spirits be jumping on people, shooting up the clubs. You know what I'm saying? Literally shooting up the club. You know what I mean? People going to wake up in jail like, yo, how did I get here? You know what I mean? That spirit jumped on them, did some evil stuff, and now they locked up for the rest of their life, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So when everybody's partying, you might ask yourself, if everybody in America, if it's a wicked country and everybody's partying, I don't think I really want to party with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to be holy and set apart. You know what I mean? Kind of look at that. Alcohol-related incidents, heavy alcohol consumption is a major contributing factor to many New Year's Eve crimes. It has been directly linked to increase in violent behavior, assaults, domestic violence, sexual assault, property crimes, intoxicated individuals, drunk driving incidents. Common. It's going to be a crazy night. Auto theft. You know what I mean? Among the most frequent days when motor vehicles are theft. In Philly, they've been carjacking people all this week. Probably with the hope of, I need to get me a car so I can ride to the club for New Year's Eve. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, why keep carjacking people? You know what I mean? They need a car so they can party and do crimes too. So they're probably riding around robbing people, partying, all that good stuff. I mean, not good stuff, obviously. All right. Let's go to Exodus 10 and 21. And then we'll go to the video. All right. We're going to see some things, some plagues that the Most High has unleashed on America. And ironically, not ironically, the Most High has amazing aim on where he's unleashed this fury. If you would think of the gayest place in America, you probably would say San Francisco. San Francisco's like the homosexual mecca of America. The Lord turned off the lights, and not on some Teddy Pendergrass type time. He turned off the lights. All right. And that is something that happened in ancient Egypt. Let's get it. Go ahead, Ken, you can bring it out.
Come. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 10, beginning at verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt.
Darkness that may be felt. Go ahead.
And Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven. And there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days.
So what we're seeing here that happened in San Francisco is unprecedented. You know, this is a major city in the United States. You know, that's why I was talked about, like, what happened, what occurred where the lights just went out. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're about to see. Is that the video, King?
That's right.
Khan, okay. You can bring it out.
Tonight, the lights slowly coming back on in San Francisco, where instead of the typical fog blanketing the city, it was miles of darkness.
Like a Hollywood movie.
A massive power outage Saturday left some 130,000 PG&E customers, about 30% of their users across the city, without power for hours. This map showing just how widespread the outage spanned.
We're like, oh my God. And when we find out later and later, most of the things that we planned were canceled.
The blackout forcing restaurants and businesses to close on one of the busiest holiday shopping weekends of the year.
Like, San Francisco, are you okay?
On the streets, chaos and congestion.
Oh no, this Waymo's gonna get stuck.
Videos show multiple Waymo self-driving cars stalling at dark intersections.
The Waymos are stuck.
Unclear how to navigate the down traffic lights. Waymo temporarily suspending its operations, saying we are focused on keeping our riders safe and ensuring emergency personnel have the clear access they need to do their work. The fire department says at least some of the outages were because of a fire that broke out inside this PG&E substation.
I can say that this is a contributing factor to the lights out in the area, stoplights and lights out in the businesses.
But the full cause still under investigation. PG&E saying the damage from the fire is extensive and that the repairs and safe restoration will be complex, but not yet explaining how they believe this happened. A blackout dimming Christmas cheer in the Golden City.
Liz is joining us now from California. And Liz, so many questions about how to make sure something like this, something this dramatic, doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of questions tonight, and people just want to know, when are they going to get power back? We know most of the power has been restored, but there are still entire neighborhoods and thousands of people that do not have electricity. PG&E says they are actively working on this, and they expect to have all power restored by midday Monday. Hallie.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay up to
Khan. So, this is something that just didn't happen in San Francisco. You know what I mean? Pennsylvania, the lights are out. There was a bomb cyclone that that knocked the lights out, and apparently in New Jersey as well. You know what I mean? And when you think about San Francisco, that thick darkness, right, that talked about in the scriptures, the self-driving cars block the roads. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's go to verse 23, Exodus 10:23. The self-driving cars block the road. Remind me of that movie. What is it?
Slocky, I know it just came out last year, I believe. God, what was the name of it? American.
What was it?
I forgot the name of it myself. I saw it though.
Yeah, with that Tesla, all the Teslas,
correct, on the bridge and everything.
They're blocking the roads.
Ah.
It's a dystopian type of movie on Netflix, right? Yeah, what was that called? It was like the end of the world type.
End
movie.
of the world.
End of something, right? End of the world, Netflix, or Leave the World Behind. Leave the World Behind. That's what it was, right? And all these self-driving cars and everything is so, it's modern, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as everything goes out and everything goes left, it doesn't work. Do you know what I'm saying? This technology don't work. We're right back in the Stone Age. Gosh, sis. Leave the world behind. Okay, so that was a leave the world behind moment in the gayest city in America. You can't make that up. Let's go to a matter of fact, can you bring that out?
23.
Exodus, 10 and 23.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 10 and verse 23. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Jake is good. You know what I'm saying? You follow these law, statutes, commandments, you all right. You know, Goshen was cool during all these plagues, you know, but everybody else not so much. So that should let you know that there is a major benefit in following the law, statutes, commandments written in the scriptures. Okay. God ain't gonna leave you stuck, you know, and lead, he's gonna lead the world behind. You know, the world of Israel is gonna be cool. All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 8 and verse 19. Because what we're seeing, and this is not just happening in America, seeing this in Ukraine, in Russia, they're bombing each other. So they're actively engaged in a war. You know what I mean? America is supposed to be so untouched, and this Babylonian horror that is going from one country to another, just, you know what I mean? Being the hoe that she is, you know, is not really in a real war with anybody. But the war is between Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and evil. You know what I'm saying? And this is a war that America cannot and will not win. We this country will continue to get beat down and all the resources drained up because they sinned against the Most High God. Bring up King. Okay, you can bring it out.
So this is the book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 19. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord has said.
It's the finger of God. Perfect aim. Hit right in the heart of San Francisco, which would be like one of, you know, Sodom or Gomorrah. You know what I mean? In ancient times. So this is the finger of God. America's getting plagued. Do not put all your resources and all your time and all your energy in uplifting a place where God is actively judging it. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Okay, this is prophecy. This is way before we were walking on the planet, not through regeneration, but in this lifetime, this has been talked about since Genesis. Okay, we're in Revelation time period now. All these seals is opening up. God is judging this place. All right, be smart, be wise, get that sin off of you, because there's more. Okay, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 17, verse 2. The Lord will turn off the lights. Put it like that. You know what I'm saying? He's done it. And one thing about the lights, as we find out in Wisdom of Solomon, is that although the lights are on or off, Salakia, that's not it. It's not just the lights going off. It's other things that come with that. All right. And it's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the Most High on your side and these lights go off, other things happen with these lights. Let's get that. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17 and verse 2.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 2. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, laid their exile from the internal providence.
Khan, go ahead.
For what they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions.
There's apparitions along with that. All right. Ghostly figures. It ain't just the lights going off. It's things that are happening as the lights are off. You know what I mean? And it couldn't happen to a more wicked city than San Francisco. Okay. Let's get the book of Nahum, chapter 1 and verse 8. So almost like that, the woman that was in the movie, was it The Mist? Like, he is a stern and vengeful God. And we have been mocking him far too long. You know what I'm saying? But you know, think about San Francisco. They have their, you know, they take the rainbow flag and, you know, this is our rainbow now. You know what I mean? Really prideful, you know, really prideful. And you know, the Most High says, you know, in the beginning, he's like, look, be fruitful and multiply. They're like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to do the opposite of what God says to do. So is San Francisco done? Is he done with San Francisco? I don't think so. You know, you look for some sinkholes and earthquakes happening in that region of the world. Because, you know, the Lord right now is in judgment mode. And it's best to let him go. Don't get in the way, okay? Let's bring that out. Nahum chapter 1 and verse 8.
Come on. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 1 and verse 8. But with the overrunning flood, he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies.
And you know, we get to the enemies of the Most High, Psalm 83. It's all the nations, you know, they're enemies of God. So it's going to get dark. It's going to get dark for the heathens. You know what I'm saying? You got to seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right. But let's keep going. There's more. Let's get to the crash dummies section. There's a lot of crash dummies falling out of the sky. If you ain't got the angels with you, I don't know why you still continue to fly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Just stay at home and wait for your judgment. But people still insist on getting on planes and helicopters and private planes, and they continue to fall out the sky. Mexico, 10 gone. Statesville, North Carolina, 7 no longer here. And one of them was like a famous NASCAR driver. You know what I mean? He drove NASCAR his entire life and survived. Got in a plane, no longer here. Okay. New Hampshire, pilots ran into a condo. In Van Nuys, California, somebody tried to steal a plane and just didn't realize that he couldn't fly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't you have to learn how to fly? It's not like stealing a car, you know? Even them, they still crash, but when you crash in a plane, that might be all she wrote. Very, very dangerous. Very, very. All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 14 and verse 24. People are falling out the sky. It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. Oh, Salakia. We're gonna watch the video first. Let's put on the video first, and then we'll come back to Exodus 14 and 24. Let's see what's going on, and then we'll read the prophecy behind it.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
God. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. I'll be here with you for the next few hours, taking over for Mike. Page. We do have an update on some breaking news we brought you yesterday. The two helicopters that collided mid-air in New Jersey. We have this from Fox News. It says, tragic update. 2 pilots are now dead after 2 helicopters collided mid-air and crash landed in New Jersey on Sunday morning. Police said 65-year-old pilot Kenneth Kirsch, who was airlifted to a hospital, has died from his injuries. 71-year-old pilot Michael Greenberg was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, Fox 29 Philly is at that crash site right now. Let's check in with Greg Payne, who's live there now with this update. Greg.
Yeah, well, good evening. Yes, I mean, it's been pretty, steady here at the scene. You haven't seen that much traffic in regards to the NTSB or the FAA, but you can see, though, off in the distance, there is one police vehicle that is there. Right next to that area, you can see some lights. In that vicinity is where you have the 2 helicopters that are located here. Now, both of the pilots are both from South Jersey, and so you can only imagine that this has had a major impact on those here in the South Jersey region.
I'm shocked. I can't believe it.
Luann Thornton of Carney's Point is still trying to wrap her head around the death of her neighbor, 65-year-old Kenneth Kirsch. Hamilton police say just before 11:30 on Sunday morning, Kirsch was involved in a mid-air helicopter collision with another helicopter.
He loved flying, and he did it for years.
This video showing one of the helicopters spinning out of control to the ground. Police say the collision occurring shortly after the 2 helicopters took off from nearby Hamilton Municipal Airport. The other pilot, identified as 71-year-old Michael Greenberg of Sewell, died on scene. Meanwhile, Kirsch was flown to Cooper Trauma Center, where he later died. We're told both pilots were friends.
I'm going to miss him. I can't believe this.
Luann says Kirsch didn't have kids and was divorced and was an architect who was planning on retiring soon.
Yeah, I guess in a way it's ironic because he died the way he, something he loved. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's just tragic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never expected that to happen to him. Never in a million years.
The NTSB and FAA are now working to determine the cause of the crash.
Yeah, there certainly is a lot involved. And the first thing that they want to look at is the scene of the accident, what information they can get from the evidence about how the aircraft landed. They're going to certainly talk to witnesses.
According to police, some of the witnesses say the helicopters were traveling close to each other just before the crash. Former Navy pilot and aviation attorney John Gagliano says that it's called formation flying, and it's allowed under the FAA regulations.
As long as both pilots consent to the formation and they've briefed the formation, then it's absolutely allowed. It is a very specific skill to fly in formation that takes specialized knowledge and training.
Which experts say the investigation will look into everything from the pilot's experience, their training, and the condition of the aircrafts.
As I mentioned, whether there was a mechanical difficulty on one of the helicopters before the collision occurred. That's certainly something that's relevant and something that the authorities should be looking at.
Now, as to be expected, there is going to be a law enforcement presence that's going to be out here overnight as they are watching the scene. Now, tomorrow, both helicopters will be recovered from the accident site and moved to a secure location where they can be further examined. Now, the next planned release of information will be the publication of a preliminary report, and we're expecting that in about 30 days. Shauna?
All right, thank you so much, Greg, for that update from the crowd.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he loved doing that. Well, he need to stop loving that because that's what'll take you off of here. You know what I'm saying? Your last name was the boy Michael Greenberg, right? You wrote a Revelation 12. It says the Archangel Michael's going to be knocking them out the sky. And those Amalek at that, oh my goodness. He probably saw you must got some nerve. You have my name, you're gonna be Amalek. You gotta go. You know what I mean? So let's get that. Let's get the prophetic side of this. Exodus chapter 14 and 24. Okay, because Pharaoh's men were in chariots, right?
Oh.
And here we are. Now, people say I can fly and I'm in the heavens and this, that, and the third. I got my pilot's license. I should be able to do this. So I said, I need you to have a few seats. Go ahead, King. You bring it out.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians.
Go ahead. Read on.
And took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavenly, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians.
He took off the chariot wheels, knocked them down the sides, So this is what's happening globally. Like I said, it wasn't just North Carolina, it was Mexico. It wasn't just Mexico, it was New Jersey. You know what I mean? These planes are falling out the sky, and they're going to continue to fall out the sky to the point where when they realize what's happening, they're probably going to be calling you up, email, DM you, like, can you pray for me? I'm about to get on a plane. I'll cash app you $3,000. You know what I mean? Here's a bar of gold. I'm about to take a flight. Can I not die? You know what I'm saying? I ain't helping no daggone heathen. I'm saying this is Lord's will. Don't get in the way of the Most High. When it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. They want to send that bar of gold. Do that. Ain't nobody praying for you. That's out. Okay, so yeah, you got darkness, planes falling from the sky. How about we take a trip? Let's take a trip to Iran, where you now have blood in the sea. And it's very interesting. If you want to sit back and think about this, right? The time that this happened, I believe, was a little over a week ago. Ask yourself, what is happening in Iran now? Carnage, protests. The people are rising up all over the country. You can see it in real time because these devices everybody has in their hand. And it looks like a possible war again with Israel. This usually happens. If you've been paying attention, geopolitical events, before they go to war, they start chopping down the government a little bit. You know what I'm saying? With these protests. Protests end up going to the military bases or different government facilities and attempting to burn them down. They try to do it from the inside first, and then they start throwing some missiles. So we're going to look out for the missiles, all right, coming into this so-called New Year, right? But in Iran, some blood was in the sea. All right, let's start with the scripture first. Let's go to Revelation chapter 16 and verse 4, because we're in Revelation time period right now. So why wouldn't blood be in the sea? Okay, and we're going to get to, the one thing about people that don't believe that God even exists or prophecy, they try to do everything in their power to say, well, I don't know if that's blood. We got to check a DNA test. You know what I'm saying? Is that A positive or O? We'll get into all that. Okay. But first, let's see what's going on. Khan, I was just looking at, we're just talking about, people are going to be arguing and, hold up, did I let you borrow my wallet yesterday and all that stuff. Somebody just got shot in Southwest Philly arguing with his brother over money. So brother shooting brother. This ain't no New Year's I want to follow or be a part of. I enjoy reading the scriptures safely in my own house. Okay.
That's right.
Let's bring that out, King. Revelation 16 and verse 4.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 16, beginning at verse 4. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood.
And they became blood. Okay. This is what happened in Iran. You know what I mean? And ironically, this is crazy how this is all transpiring, because I wanted to talk about this last week. Time restraints, really couldn't get into it, right? But with this, and it being like over like a week ago, now you see the effects. The Most High says, I'm going to turn this into blood. And now there's war, internal fighting happening in Iran. It wasn't happening before. Do you know what I'm saying? When this happened, you saw the sign, and now you can see the result. Okay. Can you read verse 5?
Verse 5. And I heard the angel of the water say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and wast and shalt be, because thou hast judged thus.
You know what I mean? The Most High judge is righteous. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about this rain is rain that came down, right? The rain came down and it mixes with the soil of iron, right? We'll get to, hemoglobin and, all the names and properties and all that. It hasn't rained over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this rain is fairly new. So the timing of it all, God does not play. Straight like that. The Most High God does not play.
That's
all
right.
So you know what I'm saying? Let's get the video and we'll come back with some more. We'll come back with some more scriptures. It's gonna look crazy if you haven't seen it. Very, very ominous.
Podcast, where we explore fascinating stories from various fields. In this episode, we break down the haunting visuals of blood-red water on Iran's Hormuz beach that stunned the internet and sparked prophecy fears worldwide. As rain transforms the shoreline into a deep crimson spectacle, we question, are these scenes a warning from ancient scriptures, or a striking reminder of how powerful nature and science can appear when misunderstood? Iran was drenched by welcome rains on December 10th, as it battles the driest autumn in over 50 years. On Hormuz Island's Red Beach, the water turned red, giving the illusion of blood-drenched rivers. According to social media posts, the beach and the sea were awash with a bright red color. Videos and photos of the red water were splashed across social media, although it couldn't be verified whether they were linked to the December 16th rains or if they were from March this year, when similar scenes were witnessed in Hormuz. It is possible that the posts are sharing older images and videos of the red rain from the previous event. Irrespective of that, the red water has generated a lot of curiosity among netizens, as Iran, battling drought, saw rainfall after a long time. Some of them linked it to a biblical prophecy, which describes the world ending and the sea, rivers, and springs turning to blood. A user wrote on X, "Blood in water is an apocalypse sign primarily comes from the biblical book of Revelation, describing angels pouring bowls that turn sea, rivers, and springs to blood as divine judgment during the end times." As another one asked, "It looks biblical. Is this common?" One user pointed out how a similar scene years ago would have been immediately linked to a higher power. Damn, I bet if this happened in classical Egypt, it could totally start a new cult or some kind of religion. Good thing people today are smart enough to know the science and ignore the superstitions. Basically, there is science behind the vivid red color of the red beach in Hormuz. The soil and rocks here contain high amounts of iron oxide, which leads to the red color when rain falls. Iron oxide can also turn the soil yellow and brown. But the red here comes from the mineral hematite. Old visuals of red water pouring down cliffs have gone viral on social media, with some comparing it to the end of times biblical prophecy. However, the scientific explanation for this occurrence is pretty clear. Thanks for tuning into this.
Well, all right. I guess since science said it, then it gotta be true, right? So the funny part he's talking about, is it from March or recent? Now, what happened in March? Same thing, right? And it was, the rivers turned into blood over there in Iran and Hormuz. And then what happened? A war between Israel happened in June. So from March, when that happened, 3 months later, a war happened between Iran and Israel. First time I can remember them fighting and throwing shots at each other, like with missiles and hypersonic missiles and F-35 jets. So we can look back. That's the thing about what they call like hindsight. You can look back at what happened and say, "Oh, that was just." It was once the mineral, the water mixes with the soil, then it just looks red. But then we could go back and like, hold up, but didn't they have a war after that? Yeah. And since we're watching this video now, right, when it happened, I think like 9 days ago, we can hindsight and say, oh, okay, that did happen with the soil and the water. And now they're having riots in the streets of Iran. A week before they weren't having them. Now they are. So these are signs. You know what I mean? If you have a spiritual insight at all, you should be able to see these things, right? Hemoglobin. It's iron-rich protein in red blood cells. Hematite is common iron oxide mineral, primarily ore of iron. Greek word for blood. I mean, if you want to check the DNA of the water and say if it's AB type, you know what I mean? Is it A positive, B positive, then feel free. But the common ingredient, as we see in hemoglobin and in hemotype, is iron. Hence, blood. Okay, so let's go to Exodus chapter 7 and verse 17. Because what it comes down to is, right, people that don't believe in God, really don't like the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Might be, practice Islam or whatever like that, which was, and I think that news broadcast is based out of somewhere in Asia. It might be India or something like that. They believe in some totally different Krishna and everything. So anything in their power to take any the validity away from the Bible, they're going to take it. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't take away the validity of the Bible just because you don't understand it. Okay, let's bring that out, King.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 17. Thus says the Lord, and this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is mine, Slaki, that is in my hand, upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood.
Most High said he's going to smite. You know what I'm saying? He said, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand. Okay, so ironically, the same iron, right? The iron-rich protein that makes blood red is iron in the minerals over there in Hormuz that makes the water turn red. Yeah, that's biblical. You know what I'm saying? That's biblical. Okay, so that's happening right now. Israel will more than likely strike Iran, or Iran might strike Israel, because technically they're still at war. Nobody signed any peace agreement. It's kind of like a break in fighting. Just like with North Korea and South Korea. They're technically still at war. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a break in fighting. You know, Israel needed a break because they were getting bombed back to the Stone Age by Iran. And they needed to re-up on their missile defense systems, which is extremely expensive. Iran throws a couple $100 drones at them, and they got to spend a couple $100,000 or thousands of dollars on the missile defenses. And you know, you can only keep up with that so much. Okay, that's why it comes out of American tax dollars, right? You gotta make sure Israel is not, getting bombed back to the Stone Age. But nevertheless, they did, and nevertheless, they will continue. Let's continue. All right, now let's talk about bird kills, fish dying off, whales dying off. He's going to talk more about, the rain from the Strait of Hormuz, but more prophecy that's happening in definitely like currently going on. This isn't going back 10, 20 years, whatever like that. We could, but this is all recent stuff. Okay. Let's start with Hosea chapter 4 and verse 1. Because here we are in the last days. It's so-called New Year's Eve. People are getting drunk, high, out of their mind. There's fish dying in the sea. There's birds falling out the sky. Blood rivers. Darkness in Sodom and Gomorrah, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And so it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. All right. Let's bring that out though. Hosea chapter 4 verse 1.
God. This is the book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
And doesn't that sound like where we're at right now? There's literally no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God. You know what I'm saying? People just finished celebrating Christmas and said that's Jesus' birthday. Wasn't Jesus born on December 25th? No knowledge. You know what I'm saying? No truth. All lies. You know what I'm saying? No mercy. This place is terrible, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not in control, but a lot of our people go along to get along with this place. They'll try to fight you. If you say, I don't celebrate Christmas. What do you mean you don't celebrate Christmas? Don't you know Jesus died for your sins? And then once they realize that's the lie, they're like, well, what about the kids? You know what I'm saying? Our people be going off, man. Following after wicked Edomites. Go ahead, give me verse 2.
Verse 2. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood.
All that stuff's going on tonight. All of it. Swearing, lying, killing. Somebody just got killed. I'm pretty sure, they had the tape out, so you might not make it. Committed adultery. People going to be sneaking around, a little sneaky link, you know what I mean? Oh, where he at? Where's she at? Let's link up over here. You know what I'm saying? That's going on tonight. I'm going out with my girlfriends. Don't tell them I'm not going to be with y'all. You know I'm going. You know what I'm saying? All that's happening tonight. They break out and blood touches blood. Okay. Go ahead, verse 3.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, and the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fish of the sea also shall be taken away.
So keep that in mind. The beasts, the fish, the fowls, all of them. Okay, and that's a major sign. That's like, wait a minute. This isn't just happening because they'll tell you in a heartbeat, because of the oxygen level in the sea right now is at extremely low rate. So then yeah, okay. Sounds good. Okay. And if the oxygen level was always like that, there would be no fish in the sea. So why is everything happening now? Why are the beasts of the field dying now? Why are the fish dying now? Why are the fowls falling out the sky now? Esau will always give you a reason because he's scared in reality. You know what I mean? Esau is shook. He's like, I got to make you know why it happened? Because the way the sun was shining, it killed the fish that were in the sea. See? Take everything away from God. That's his job. You know what I'm saying? If you're naive enough to believe him, then I don't know what to tell you. But all these things are occurring as we speak now, today. All right. Let's look at a few things that happened in the recent past. Okay, we could play the video dealing with prophecies. You know what I'm saying? And this is a video that can pretty much pinpoint that, man, that time is short. All right, get right. This is the Wednesday wake-up call. Get right so you don't get left. Because God ain't mocked. So you gonna reap what you sow.
Now, but these birds are getting exhausted and then just falling from the sky. Fox 35's Esther Bauer breaks down what you should do.
They come from up north, like Canada, and
if they go, they are stranding themselves on our beaches instead.
A horrifying mystery in one Northern California city where residents say birds are being killed at an alarming rate. More than 50 birds have recently plummeted to the ground after perching on a specific stretch of power line in Richmond, which is northeast of San Francisco. The utility says the California Department of Fish and Wildlife evaluated the birds and found no evidence of electrocution. The Department of Fish and Wildlife believes the deaths were caused by a BB gun or a slingshot. Neighbors aren't convinced.
Feel like a BB gun doesn't make a firecracker noise. I can't fathom somebody could be that accurate all the time.
Now, regardless of what's causing the deaths, residents say they just want someone to take action.
Scientists at the Marine Mammal Center say 21 gray whales have died in the San Francisco Bay this year. It's the highest total in the last 25 years. Nearly 2 weeks ago, a 37-foot whale was found floating underneath the Richmond Long Wharf. A necropsy found the whale had likely been killed by a vessel strike. Scientists say its death was surprising because of how late in the season it was and because no whales have been spotted in the bay in nearly 2 weeks.
A grisly-looking sight appeared on Hormuz Island in Iran as what's called a blood rain turned the beaches a dramatic crimson color. No, this is not the devil's work or a horror movie set. It's the natural runoff color created from the rock and soil that make up the landscape. The island's red soil is caused by a high concentration of iron oxide, or rust, particularly the mineral hematite. When the sediment mixes with water during a rainstorm, runoff moves across the landscape and washes towards the coast, coloring both the ocean and the sandy shore an intense blood red. Some online reactions to these videos were concerned about pollution or an environmental impact, but experts say there is no ecological threat from the runoff.
The haunting visuals of blood-red water on Iran's Hormuz beach that stunned the internet and sparked prophecy fears worldwide. As rain transforms the shoreline into a deep crimson spectacle, we question, are these scenes a warning from ancient scriptures, or a striking reminder of how powerful nature and science can appear when misunderstood? Iran was drenched by welcome rains on December 10th, as it battles the driest autumn in over 50 years. On Hormuz Island's Red Beach, the water turned red, giving the illusion of blood-drenched rivers. According to social media posts, the beach and the sea were awash with a bright red color. Videos and photos of the red water were splashed across social media.
Three reasons why seniors over 60 are getting a solar generator for their house in 2026.
A solar generator is a portable power station. You charge it up before a storm hits, and you can keep charging it with the sun if the power stays out. And this one from 4 Patriots is expandable in case you need more power on the night of the storm. You need one of these if you want power, but not worry about finding
Can you
gas.
skip that out?
All electronic. It's cheaper than a whole house generator, and it's portable, so you can quickly unplug it and move it wherever you need it. And it's easy. No Bluetooth, no mobile app. You won't have to sign in or make an account with it. You just push the power button on the front to turn it on and plug in what you need. It'll tell you how much power you have left on the big friendly screen. Here's what you can plug into it. Number 1, your fridge. You can protect your expensive meats and important chilled medicines from going bad when the power's out. Number 2,
skip
your
this.
CPAP. So you can sleep like a baby without motorcycle levels of noise or gas fumes near your head while you sleep. Number 3, your devices. So you can power your TV, lamps, and even your internet
Might be a
router.
good thing to
Power
get, though,
those devices
these
to get
days.
critical news updates when the roads are closed and the world goes dark. And right now, you can get the most powerful 4 Patriots solar generator ever, together with over $1,500 in free gifts. This includes a free plug-and-play solar panel. But you have to hurry and get it now, because after December 31st, the price will go up by $500. Click the button at the bottom of this video before this ad goes away right now. Go to 4patriots.com. Go to 4patriots.com to see our most powerful solar generator ever and save $500 by December 31st.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan.
Con. All right, let's get we'll put it like this. Can you go back to that video? Because there was more on the fish and the birds. And how they didn't make it. Because prophecy is occurring, and Esau is trying to figure out what's going on. We gotta know what's happening. See me in the comment section. The comment section, say if you think it's judgment, say it's judgment. But if you think that this is all natural occurring things, then put that as well. So either 1 for judgment, 2 for nature. You can play it.
So like I gotta grab my phone charger real quick.
Go ahead. This video's gonna be on for a minute.
That's a 10-pounder. 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 Probably a 13-pounder.
Unbelievable video there. New at 4. A sad situation at an Orange County lake where fish are dying off en masse. Take a look there. As you could expect, fishermen there upset by what's causing so many varieties of fish to end up dead.
As Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan found out, the county is now addressing public concerns about why this is happening.
For decades, people have come to Laguna Niguel Lake to escape. And for Orange County residents, it's a lot closer than San Diego, LA, or the Inland Empire.
This lake is a recreational lake for fishing, recreation, walking, hiking, biking.
But fishing enthusiast Billy Egan with Western Outdoor News says this resource for those wanting to fish is now devastated. This is what he discovered out here Monday, posting about it on social media.
That's a 10-pounder. 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 Probably a 13-pounder. There was bluegill, there was catfish, there was carp, and unfortunately, the bigger fish, which are the ones that keep ecosystems going.
He says the last die-off happened in 2013, but nothing compared to this.
My whole purpose of doing this is just to bring it out to the public so that this doesn't happen again, so that there's things set in place to mitigate this, because, you know, OC Parks had a great response the very next day with about 12 employees, 3 boats, 2 canoes, a backhoe, trucks, getting all the dead fish out. But if they had spent half the resources it took to clean it up to prevent it, we wouldn't be here right now talking about this.
So what happened? We asked 5th District Supervisor Katrina Foley.
A combination of things I think occurred. We had some aerators that were broken and that had to be fixed. And so there was a time period when they had about 6 of the aerators that were not working. And then there was some algae growth. And so that contributed to the reduction of the oxygen in the lake.
Those aerators are now working, but she still has concerns and is hosting a town hall meeting out here next month.
I am concerned about the management of the lake and taking into consideration the oxygen levels during that time period when we didn't have the aerators.
You can put catfish in here, you can put crappie, you can put bluegill, and you can put trout in here, but it's going to take years for this lake to come back to the bass fishing fishery it's known for.
If you live in a Michigan zip code and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen.
It's a mystery. I think that's how we all feel, is it's inexplicable.
If what's happening along Bernhard Avenue in Richmond is a mystery, then these are the neighborhood detectives.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Residents say what has been happening high along this power line since February just isn't adding up.
Sounded like a firecracker, and a black, I think it was a starling, just plummeted to the ground.
They say there have been more than 50 instances of birds dying along this top power line. Video from a nearby Ring camera shows the moment it happens. Listen for the loud crack. A bird then falls to the ground.
Super traumatic to see this.
Neighbors say after hanging up awareness posters like these and repeated calls to PG&E, there was little action. When a worker came out to inspect the line,
He literally seemed like befuddled.
After reporting on the story Sunday night, on Monday, PG&E told ABC7 that they reached out to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to evaluate several of the dead birds. In a statement, PG&E said Fish and Wildlife shared that the birds show no evidence of electrocution and that their deaths were caused by trauma, potentially from a pellet or BB gun or a slingshot.
But I feel like a BB gun doesn't make firecracker noise. And I can't fathom somebody could be that accurate all the time.
PG&E also said they do not believe that there was an issue with our electrical equipment and agrees that these birds were not electrocuted.
I know where the sound is coming from, and it's coming from up on the pole.
That particular wire does sizzle and arc at times.
We reached out to the Department of Fish and Wildlife, who confirmed PG&E's statement, but reiterated the cause of death was not clear. For the residents along Barnhard, whatever the cause, something needs to be done sooner than later.
We just want it solved, like at the end of the day.
Con. Well, dig into the scriptures, you know what I'm talking about? See what it says. Fish dying, birds dying, blood rivers. Yeah, this is a prophetic time we live in. You know?
That's right.
Ain't the time to go be hanging out, you know? New Year's Eve, 2-1 and all that other stuff. Be hard pressed getting home, all these drunk drivers and you know what I'm saying, these spirits out here. And then we gotta look at other situations. We're gonna talk about what they call 3-Eye Atlas and what's going on with that. We ain't done. All right. But let's talk about the judgments that are taking place on the planet. Okay. More judgments. Now we get into the fish deaths, bird deaths, so forth, so on, blackouts. But now the mighty men are getting cut down. Okay. Your police officers, you know what I'm saying? Your politicians, not so much as of yet, but we're going to talk about the police officers, people that are in power in this terrible, diabolical country. You know what I'm saying? They're not making it. Okay, let's get Exodus 14:10. It's best to repent, resign, but this is happening to the Edomites. So their repentance is I don't know. He seeked out repentance with tears, though he found it none. Okay, let's get that Exodus 14:10.
God, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were so afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord.
So you kind of look at it like this, right? Like right now, the ICE agents, you know what I'm saying? They're coming after you. They said they're going to deport you. They're going to throw you in the supermax prisons, and people are scared. People are shook. They're like, what can I do? Look at that guy. You know what I mean? 6'4", 250 pounds, got a mask on his face, gun this long, and there's about 10, 15 of them hopping out in vans, getting in car accidents. They purposely knock your car off the road and they get out with guns in your face. They smash your windows, so the children of Israel are so afraid. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the Most High did. All right. I'll read that verse 11. Verse 11.
Verse 11. And they said unto Moses, because there was no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?
And it's what Jake is saying now. He's like, stop talking about these white people like that. Y'all be on them corners telling this white man he's the devil. You're going to get us in trouble. You trying to get us killed, right? That's Jake, man. Christian Jake, scared Jake, Jake that don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's what they saying. Okay, let's read verse 12.
12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
Rather be slaves, man. Man, I got a nice job, my boss gave me the for Christmas a year supply subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club, and you trying to take that away? Guess you want to go back into the jungle. That's Jake. But what does God do? All right, let's read verse 13.
13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will shew to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
You ain't gonna see them no more. I'm gonna take them off of here. I gotta take them off of here. You know what I mean? The Lord don't play about his people. You know what I mean? He let Moses Moses knew. Moses seen burning bush. Moses, split Red Seas. Moses was doing some things. You know what I'm saying? Moses, and think about all the plagues. He's Most High is doing these plagues. Moses is telling you, like, look, it's about to happen. I'm telling you what's about to happen. He was a god amongst Pharaoh. You know what I mean? Aaron was his prophet. He said, look, he ain't bring you out here just to bring you out here. Okay. So let's watch this video coming up. You know what I mean? The Lord's going to fight for you. Let's watch this video coming up. And the brother Taylor House Publishings, this is somebody that should definitely follow. He's definitely worth a follow on YouTube. He has some amazing videos and things that, you might not have heard about on mainstream news. He has access and brings out the descriptions and all the things that that is important regarding these topics. Okay. But go ahead, King, you could play that.
On the manhunt for the suspect who allegedly killed 4 police officers in Seattle. Police just now confirming he has been shot and killed. CBS News correspondent John Blackstone is in Seattle with the latest. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Maggie. Well, it was an intense manhunt here in the Pacific Northwest for Maurice Clemens since these 4 police officers were shot. Police now say that early this morning in South Seattle, they were tightening this grip on family and friends, and they found Maurice Clemens. There was a shootout. They now confirm he was shot and killed. But this long manhunt added frustration for a community already consumed by grief.
I want to be the voice for my sister now, to keep her alive. And I would urge that if anyone has any information, please come forward.
For the second straight night, SWAT teams swarmed the homes of friends and family of Maurice Clemens, pointing guns and fingers.
Part of that plan is going to be to make everybody's lives miserable. That's helping them. And if they want to go down one by one until there's nobody left, that's okay with us.
They keep saying on the news that the family is aiding him. That may be true, but it's not us. It's not me.
Police say Clemens is wounded from his Sunday shootout at the coffee shop where he opened fire on the 4 police officers. Clemens had been released on charges just last week.
How did a judge let somebody that was convicted and should have been in prison out and killed 4 people that protect us?
But his record goes back to when he was 16 and sentenced to more than 90 years in prison in Arkansas for robbery and burglary. Then Governor Mike Huckabee granted him parole in 2000.
Do I wish the commutation hadn't happened? Of course, but I was acting on what I knew at the time.
Now, police say that before the shootings, Clemens had bragged to friends that he was going to kill some cops and that they should be watching TV. But this morning, the police finally found Maurice Clemens. In a shootout, he was shot and killed in South Seattle. Maggie?
I get paid $2,500 a month to take care of my dad, and I didn't have to fill out a single form.
All right, CBS's John Blackstone, thank you.
And before we dive back into the video, I want to tell you about a new way to make some extra cash, all from your phone. Free Cash works with app games to help them find new users like you. These apps and games are willing to pay for new users because a lot of users end up actually liking the games in the apps.
There you hear about the story, which I hadn't heard about, so somebody sent it to me, of Maurice Clemens, who was alleged to have killed 4 officers before being shot dead. Now, this happened in Seattle, Washington, in Lakeland in 2009. And I'm going to give you some more details on the backstory. But evidently, Mr. Clemens, was suffering from some mental health issues. He had an extensive record, which you heard a little bit about. But this next video is going to tell you how his criminal story or his criminal past began from that of a young age and how he had several attempts trying to rectify his life of crime. But evidently, there was something terribly wrong with this mental state, which I'm going to share with you after this video. Just watch.
The manhunt for a multiple murderer. His victims, 4 police officers sitting innocently in a coffee shop preparing for work. Those officers have been identified as 39-year-old Sergeant Mark Renninger. He is survived by a wife, 2 daughters, and a son. 37-year-old Officer Ronald Owens survived by a daughter. 42-year-old Officer Greg Richards sleeps behind a wife and 3 children. And 40-year-old Officer Tina Griswold, wife and mother of 2, who also has ties to the Inland Northwest. The man accused of murdering those 4 officers remains on the loose at this hour. Overnight, police thought they had Maurice Clemens cornered, but he is still a fugitive. As the community reels from the vicious crime, police and civilians alike are stunned that the suspect was not behind bars. KXLY4 Sally Showman is live in the newsroom with Clemens' shocking criminal history. Sally?
Clemens has a long criminal record in Arkansas and Washington dating back decades. He received a 95-year sentence for a crime spree in Arkansas back in 1989. His offenses ranged from robbery to burglary and possession of a firearm at school. He wasn't supposed to be released until 2015 at the earliest, but then Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee granted him clemency in 2000. Clemens returned to prison in 2001 on a robbery charge. He received a 10-year sentence, but was released from prison in 2004. He moved to Washington while on parole and was arrested earlier this year on an assault of an officer charges. But once again, he was released from jail just last week when he posted a $150 bond. Now an all-out manhunt is underway to find this man so many believe should never have left prison in the first place.
Officers have been crisscrossing the Seattle area, chasing one lead after another, hoping to find Maurice Clemens.
He is our suspect. We are not looking for anybody else. He's no longer a person of interest. He's our suspect.
Police say Clemens was shot by one of the officers yesterday and that they've been following his blood trail and sightings. Police surrounded a house in Seattle's Leschi neighborhood for 12 hours last night and into this morning. He got away.
We're not absolutely certain he was ever inside the house. We just know he was at the house.
There's medics standing by. I don't know how we're going to find him. He may be deceased from his gunshot wound. That's yet to be determined.
This as mourners flock to the scene of the deadliest attack on law enforcement in Washington's history. Flowers, cards, now outside of Forza Coffee Company, the place where investigators say Maurice Clemens killed 4 police officers preparing to start their Sunday shift.
This sad, and yes, I can't imagine. I mean, these are fathers, wives, mothers, good people, and it's just such a tragedy.
Witnesses say the gunman flat out executed 2 of the officers. A 3rd officer tried to stop him, and the 4th fired at him.
One of them managed to fight his way with the suspect, fight all the way out the doorway until he was shot, died of a gunshot wound.
Investigators don't believe these 4 officers were targeted specifically.
We're getting reports that he made some comments the night before to watch the news because he was going to go kill a bunch of cops. Those people did not report that until after the incident occurred. So we believe that he was just after police officers, and unfortunately they were the 4 that were in that coffee shop when he went by and saw that they were there.
A murder warrant has been issued for Clemens, and there's a $125,000 reward offered for his capture. Live in the newsroom tonight, Sally Showman, KXLY4 HD News.
All right, so there you see or hear a little bit about his criminal history. Now, what really happened that day? But before we get into that, you heard that he started getting in trouble in Arkansas at the age of 16. He did a lot of robberies, a lot of break-ins, and he was initially sentenced to about 90 years. And that was as a juvenile. But because of an appeal and a clemency, that Governor Mike Huckabee, which you saw him, released him in 2000. And he got out. He lasted a year until he was once again booked on some more robbery and breaking and entry charges. Now, then they sentenced him to 10 years. However, he was paroled at 2004. And he said, in the parole hearing, okay, I wasn't ready the first time, but, now I am ready. And it seemed as if he was ready because from 2004 to 2009, he hadn't been in any trouble. But if you know a lot of early incarceration, long prison sentences, that does have a mental effect on you. Now, a lot of people can come out unscathed But a lot of people still have trauma, and you wonder why people return back and back and back to those things, because, you know, there's some sort of psychological mishap that allows them to keep doing the same wrong thing. Nevertheless, and when he got out in 2004, he moved to Washington. They said he married a lady, and they were doing really good. They said he had a pressure washing businesses, you know, from his home, and, you know, him and his wife started buying up a lot of properties. You know, he was buying property. They said he owned like 5 or 6 properties. Now, his wife was probably the mastermind of that, but he was just, you know, he was a, you know, he was very, I guess, sporadic. And they said during the last days before he shot these cops, he started acting erratic. He was telling people that, you know, he was Jesus, and, you know, his wife was Eve and he was Adam, and all of these things, right? He was, you know, they alleged that, you know, he had some younger member of his family, you know, walk out into the house, and he was walking around unclothed, and he asked a younger member of his family to do some things. That's why they mentioned that child charge. Nevertheless, it was obviously that something had clicked in his mind. Now, on the day of, they said he called one of his best friends. He called one of his best friends and told him, yo, drive me over here to this cop shop, right? And I'm going to do this. Now, his friend claims he didn't know that he was about to do it, but his friend drove around, you know, drove the pickup truck, parked around the corner. They said my man just went in the coffee shop, peeped in the door, and opened fire. He hit the first 2 officers flush in the head, killing them instantly. And the third officer, I guess they tried to run or something. He shot him. And then the fourth officer, as you said, there was some sort of tussle, an exchange of gunfire in which he was shot. Clemens was shot, but he also shot the officer, and the officer later died. So, of course, there were 4 police officers dead on the scene. And he and his homeboy, you know, they said, you know, that a lot of people saw him run and hop into the truck. Now, his homeboy said, look, after he came back, his homeboy just abandoned him and the truck at the light, hopped out and said, look, I don't want no parts of this, right? And so then, you know, he went on the run. He was, you know, at different locations. And you saw they were trying to make his family's life a living hell. They said, okay, we're going to make everyone who knows him uncomfortable. Now, they eventually found him because there was, I think, an Acura. It was an Acura abandoned on the road with the hood up. And evidently that is one of the cars that he may or may have not stole. But the police saw this car abandoned, and they ran the tags and noticed that the car was stolen. Somehow, when the police is in that vicinity, here comes old Maurice, you know, staggering along, and, you know, the cop sees him, knowing that he had matched the suspect. Mind you, it was a massive manhunt, right? 4 police officers killed. He is public enemy number 1. And so when they found him, you know, he ordered them to stop. And as you know, as one story says, well, you know, he didn't stop. And so then, you know, there was an exchange of gunfire, and they said the officer shot him 3 times, shot Clemens 3 times. Clemens still was able to run away. And then they said while he was running away, the officer shot him 4 times, in which, you know, he died. And so that is what they're saying happened. Now, we don't know. It could have been, you know, some of these things where, okay, you killed 4 officers. It don't matter. You're wanted dead or alive. And, you know, probably most of the time dead. Nevertheless, they continue to persecute and prosecute and charge at least 5 other people of his family. The main one is the driver. They charged him with like 5 counts of attempted murder and everything. And they sentenced him, and they convicted him the first time, and they gave him life, mandatory life without parole. However, his sentence was overturned. It was overturned because of, you know, whatever the case may be. I guess they couldn't really say that he knew what was going on. But they gave him a sentence of 10 years. But they also charged about 4 or 5 other people in his family for aiding, abetting, accessory after the fact. They hit them people with all sorts of charges, and they convicted some, but ultimately, most of the charges of the people that they tried to pile on the charges to, those charges got overturned as well because, it seems like they were just going, all in against this guy's family. But once again, this is a story. Once again, I don't know, like there's no telling of the treatment that he's received in prison from security guards or police. They're trying to say that it was just a random act, that they were targeted just because they were police. We don't know, but you heard the one white guy saying, well, they were good people. They were husbands, they was wives. And I always have to revert back to the numerous stories that I see of police killing people in the news shared on this channel where, those people as well were husbands, wives, good people, no matter, why their reason was encountering the law. So I know, a lot of people who watch this video is going to consider Maurice Clemens a hero, and then some will consider him, a coward who attacked officers and blah, blah, blah. Once again, your level of understanding only comes from your experiences and your perception on things. But, this is a story that I had not heard. So I decided to revisit these stories because evidently, I guess, I don't remember seeing this. This was 2009, almost 16 years ago. So I don't recall this being very prevalent in the news cycle. But of course, these things often go away, especially.
Kind. Yeah, I didn't know that happened back then. I'm starting to think maybe I did hear about this, but very interesting. You see the hindsight of how he allegedly committed this crime, and they just roof everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're gonna have we're not just gonna lynch one person, we're gonna lynch you all, so nobody else does that again. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? This is prophecy. This is what God intends to happen. He's going to have brothers crashing out in these last days. You know what I mean? Living a life of a 2/3, and the Most High is going to have brothers crash out. Okay. And Esau, of course, Esau put Charlie Kirk, put a hole in his neck. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going to happen. He's going to use these spirits to enact his will. Let's go to Ezekiel 25 and verse 14. The brother said, I thought we was on the same stream as him. No, but yeah, the brother be having some very interesting news stories and perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're not saying go, do anything to Esau, the police, or anything like that. God's going to have that happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just something he's got to be ready to see. It's just not going to stop. You're born into the last days. So you can imagine how close we are now. Putin, his house got bombed by drones, by Ukrainian drones. Apparently, it's got a notification. Trump is snapping on Putin right now, like on social media, like he's talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like talking heavy on some World War III type time. So we're in that time period. China surrounded Taiwan. You know what I mean? America's surrounding Venezuela. There's riots in Iran. Iran and Israel are talking heavy back and forth. So all it takes is one spark and this thing's going to blow up. Okay.
Finish him.
God, all praises. Con, can you bring that out?
Con, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 25 and verse 14. And I will lay vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, says the Lord God.
Con, brother got 4 cops. They all had guns. That doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Be able to shoot and kill. You know what I mean? 4 armed men, that 3 men and a woman is almost unheard of. You know what I'm saying? But like it says in Second Ezra's 5th chapter, you know, people are gonna be taken in a great number, and the mighty men, like it's talked about in Obadiah, the mighty man is gonna fall. Okay, so
Me, nigga.
so it's gonna be you know, the Lord is going to be passing judgment out, you know, to all these other nations, and we're going to sit back, we're going to talk about it, you know what I mean, and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
That's
you know?
right.
What they talking about? Oh, they were so good. They were good people. They had families and everything like that. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer had a family. You know what I'm saying? Ted Bundy had a family. Just because you have a family don't make you a good person. B2K, right? Bind, torture, and kill. He had a whole family and children and everything. They all got families. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High decided to judge them. Who knows what they have done in the past, or if they didn't do nothing in the past. It doesn't matter. Esau's going to get this judgment. He's going to get this work.
Say it again.
He's going to get this work. You know what I'm saying? Rob Reiner was meathead. He was all liberal and, you know, we got to treat the blacks good, Archie. You know what I'm saying? That's how he was in real life, apparently, too, what they were saying. So he's all liberal and, you know, power to the people and all that. God don't care about none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's going to really hit Esau. It's going to rub Esau the wrong way. Like, hold on, but I say Black Lives Matter. I do this and I do that. I marched with you guys when George Floyd got killed. I did this. God don't care about nothing like that, man. You know what I'm saying? What that matter? The Most High God is judging you from things you did when we came out of the wilderness in the times of Moses. You know what I'm saying? We going before Joshua, we going to the promised land. You stopping us and saying, nah, you can't come through. You can't bring that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it doesn't matter how many Black Lives Matter signs you have, you're going to get judged. And that's when, yes, and that's when things are going to hit home like, yo, here, take my gold. You know what I mean? Here, I'll send my children over there and mow your lawn every day this week. There's nothing else I can do. And that's the facts. There's nothing they can do. And that's what they're going to do. Okay, so when that time comes, be ready for it. Okay, now let's talk about 3i Atlas. Okay, because the closest it came to Earth was December 19th. Got some pictures. What? Come on, man. You serious? Look at that. You see that in the middle? What that look like? Does that look like a comet to you? Does that look like a comet to anybody? Do you know what I'm saying? There's jets coming from it, right? They say there's 6 jets. That's the jets. It's a wheel. It's a wheel inside of a wheel.
That's right.
And they didn't care. They look. I know you're like, hold on. Well, supposed to land on this day. Nobody said that. The scientists were saying we're not worried about it landing. It's not coming close to us. The way it's projected, unless it takes a crazy turn, it's not projected to come close to us. But what it's doing right now, it could possibly be, you know, it's so large, right? They can have other chariots in there. So they call them probes. It could be sending out probes all throughout our solar system. You know, the things that's spraying off of it is like cyanide, which helps seed planets. Do you know what I'm saying? And the stuff that's spraying off it right now, we're projected to go past it. Earth is going around the sun. It's projected to go past this cloud of whatever is spraying out in this this chariot, obviously. And it's obviously alien because it's not part of our solar system. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and then you wonder why NASA didn't show a good picture. You know what I mean? NASA was like, oh man, it went by Mars. We couldn't, our camera stopped working. Oh, the government shut down. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? So it took months and months and months. And then they're like, okay, we're going to show you what it looks like. And it looked like somebody took a picture of a street lamp in a foggy night. You guys got the best technology, the clearest pictures. That's what you got. So this picture that we're seeing right now, this is from amateur astronomers. People this is what they do. They look up in the sky, right? And he's going to talk about, the next video is going to talk about how, you have to put the video on right now, but talk about how the picture was taken. It's taken a whole bunch of pictures and it's laid up on top of each other because it's so far away. It has jets coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no jets coming out of just a regular comet. You know what I'm talking about? So it's on its way to Jupiter. They say it's going to get there around March. People have talked about, because NASA's not talking about it. People have talked about that it actually changed course. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have to, it would be nice if it landed. I mean, all praise to the Most High, swing low, sweet chariot.
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying? But if it doesn't, then I mean, they're not dropping off other vehicles, if you will, other chariots, so-called UFOs. And take a look at the people walking by you. Israel, look around, look at the people's faces that you're around. You know what I'm saying? You might, I don't want to look at nobody. I'm just going to my destination. I'm going right back. This world is extremely wicked, this, that, and the third. Cool. I ain't mad at you. I do the same thing. But everybody that you walk by ain't from here. I'll say that one more time. Everybody that you walk by and interact with on a daily basis didn't necessarily grow up on Earth.
Message.
I want that to sink in a little bit. Let it simmer. Let it simmer. All right. Because it's going to be a disclosure coming up. Esau gonna say it, and you be like, "Damn, that's crazy." You heard what Esau said? Man, listen. All right. If it makes it, if it works out that you believe Esau when he says something, fine. But trust and believe that is the case. Steven Spielberg's coming out with a movie in June called Disclosure Day. Talks about the same thing. But this is something that we've been talking about a long time. All right. It's going to start to get more and more real. All right. Just don't have no heart attacks. You know what I'm saying? But it's serious business. Hebrews, what's that? 12:2? 13:2. What's that? Slakia. You don't have to get Hebrews, but let's go to what I want. Let's go to Ezekiel 1:16. All right, and hold that real quick. Don't bring that out quite yet. Yeah, that's my fault. It was Hebrews 13:2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for hereby some have entertained angels unawares. That's going to be reality. Okay. Definitely. Clearly going to be reality. All right. We on obviously you can see, just look at this, right? Look at that in the middle. That is not a comet. We can all agree on that. Can we? All right. In the chat. One, it's a comet. It's completely normal. Nothing to see here. Or two, that is a chariot described in Ezekiel and in the scriptures. It's huge. It's sped up. It's made of nickel and like not iron. I don't have a lot of iron in it or something like to that effect. Right? Okay, we getting some twos in here. Okay, so all right, I don't want to be, like I'm going off. Like, oh, you going off. All right. We might have to put you in 302. My man, I know what a comet looks like. And that ain't no daggone comet.
That's right.
You dig? And where'd it come from and who put it there? I put a 3. Who put it there? The Most High has, he's in the heavens. Say no, just anomaly and, no. This is the work of God. So let's bring that out in Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 16. Baba Kashar.
Con, this is Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 16. The appearance of the wheels and their works was like unto the color of a barrel, of a barley, and Slaki, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
That's a wheel in the middle of the wheel. It don't get no realer than that. And you can go to Tim Burchett. I played that on one Wednesday wake up call, right? Tim Burchett, congressman from Tennessee. He came out of a closed door meeting, a skiff, where it's just him and the intelligence committees and other congressmen or senators or whatever, right? And he says, as they interviewed him coming out of there, he's like, yeah, we know what these are, it's Ezekiel's wheel, you know what I mean? We read that. You know what I'm saying? Like he pretty much said, this is what we talked about in the closed door meetings. This is what they talk about. We're in a closed door meeting talking about UFOs, and we know Ezekiel's wheel. We know that. We read about it before. This is before 3i Atlas, or to our understanding, because they could have been tracking this object years from, years ago. I don't know. But that is literally a wheel inside of a wheel. All right. And you could play the next video. It talks about that, goes into a little bit more detail than I have, but you can't unsee it. You know what I'm saying? You can't unsee it. It is what it is. It's legit.
On Dabu7 here with another Atlas update. And this time, we've got more confirmations on what this thing is looking like through stacked imagery. And we can see that the jet that it's kicking off toward the sun is something truly anomalous. It's different than anything we've ever seen with a comet, because normally the big tails are kicked out away from the sun. The solar wind carries all this debris away. This has to be a very powerful source, is what they're saying, to not only counter the solar wind and be pointed toward the sun, but to be going out for such a long distance. Now, many different scientists give many different thoughts on this, but this jet structure seems to be pushing this thing along, so to speak. You can even see it in some of the other frames, like the Lambda here, for instance. You can see just how massive the jet structure is coming out of this. And many are saying that should have got burned up around perihelion, anything like this. With some out there speculating that 3i Atlas has changed course once again. Has it? Well, NASA, per se, hasn't updated on their official websites. But not everyone goes off of NASA and trusts NASA. Some people are going off their own backyard data, so to speak, that they're getting off their own telescopes. The brightness, the inclination, all the other features that we're seeing from the astronomers that have nothing to hide. Okay, on the right, you're looking at some of the newest imagery from the Hubble, which does show an absolutely beautiful and amazing looking structure around this object. In the middle, you were looking at a stack of 20-minute composites that were thrown together that form this Ezekiel's wheel type of characteristic that goes on here. We've caught this before. I've mentioned this before. Some of these things are now being picked up by several people in their matching. So when the composites are thrown together, it ends up kicking out this wheel-like structure. And we get it time and time again now. And we've seen from some of the other shots that there seems to be some kind of 4, 5, 6-pointed structure around this object without the compositry. So a wheel within a wheel within a wheel. Yeah. You wonder why people are saying Ezekiel's wheel, because it definitely matches here very closely. But these are some of the latest anomalies here by this. Again, when people saying this thing changed course, when I went looking over at NASA, it doesn't look like any of their data has changed, but some of these backyard astronomers are going off data that they're keeping and they're tracking because they don't trust NASA. And you wonder why. Well, this is some of the latest imagery. Join me for the live shows going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
So think about it. Just put it all together. All these plagues, all these things happening. Ezekiel's wills in our solar system. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the time where you got to go close to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know what I mean? Pray to him while he's close, while he is near. Seek the Lord. You know what I mean? Seek the Lord. Is you know, if it's not a feast day, hey, tonight's a great time to fast. You know, so-called New Year's, you know what I mean? Open up a fast. You know, it's Wednesday, the HOI fast from Wednesday sundown to Thursday sundown. If you haven't, you know, like, I didn't know, I didn't start. Hey, now's a good time to start. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this is the time period, right? Because what happened in ancient Egypt? The Most High heard the cries of our ancestors. He told Moses, I hear the cry of our ancestors, of my people. We're going to bring them out now. You know? You can't be like, I'm cool now. You know, I got a trip going to the south of France in a few months. You know, maybe after that you can, you know, come and save us. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be sighing and crying for all the hell we getting in this country, on all this planet. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be crying out to your Heavenly Father. Get me out of here. I want the kingdom. South of France, you know what I'm saying? Or the Bahamas, you know, hey, you can have islands, you can have galaxies, planets, you know what I'm saying? He said, in my Father's house, many mansions. Don't look to the small things, you know what I mean? Think big, think the kingdom, you know what I mean? So aim for the kingdom, everything else gonna be added on. All right. So I just wanted you to take one more look at this and just know that this is flying around in our solar system right now. And along with all these other things, because keep in mind, right, they didn't know where the light was coming from. Where's this light coming from? You know what I mean? Look on the right, all that light, like where's that? You know, because it should be burning off, right? Like burning incense right now. The longer I burn the incense, the smaller the incense gets. It makes sense, right? God, that's a good one. All right. Give me 1 second. We put that on. Smaller the incense gets. So that should be with everything. So a comet that's that large and that's giving out that much amount of burn, and you know, you see all this light and everything. So it should be getting smaller. But kind of fast on their holidays, all praises, so-called holidays. So it should be getting smaller, but it's not. They're not saying that it's getting smaller. It's not. They're not showing evidence to that. So what they're saying, possibly, this is scientists, what they're saying is it might be surrounded by a bunch of other chariots. You know what I'm saying? They don't say chariots. They say a bunch of other objects. If it's a chariot, it'll be surrounded by a bunch of other chariots. So you don't know if one drops off, another one drops off. You know what I'm saying? So it could be an invasion, which they know about and don't want to tell us, or they don't know about, but obviously this is all of the Most High. Go ahead, Ken, you want to play that with Tim Burchett?
Pacific. I got to know Tim a couple of years ago, and his dad served in the Pacific campaign in the Okinawa and as a no less. Tim, thank you for your family service, sir.
Thank you, brother. I was just born into it. I was just very fortunate to have a cool dad. And my mama actually flew an airplane in the Second World War. Her brother died fighting the Nazis, and she's just a little country girl, 17, 18 years old, and volunteered to do that. So both my parents distinguished services in our country. Technically, mama wasn't a veteran, but
I love the fact that I've known that about your mum. I was going to ask, she was flying aircraft for the Army Air Corps, is that right?
it was actually what was called the Civilian Air Corps at the time, what she was in, and it was later in the war, so it wasn't extensive, but still, a little country girl didn't have electricity till she's a senior in high school. Flying an airplane's a pretty cool thing. Or I guess you're always an admiral if you're one. About these 5 or 6 deep water areas, and it just seemed to make sense. That's where you're seeing a lot of the observations of the UFOs. And then when I'm told something big as a football field is moving at 200 miles an hour underwater, when I know the best we have is around 30, and I'm pretty sure there's no fish that big in the ocean, or a whale, which is a mammal. So, but it lends itself to a lot more questions than answers.
So I just wanted to go through the detail of that. So I understand you've spoken to people who are direct witnesses to claims that there are objects that have been detected underwater moving at hundreds of miles an hour. What more detail can you give me on these particular incidents?
Well, of course, it's done by sonar, and the fact that we have nothing in those capabilities. And if you shoot a bullet literally into a swimming pool, it's going to go just a few feet before it just stops. But you can shoot it through the air and it can go over a mile. And it just shows you the amount of friction and the amount of power that would have to have. But also it lends itself to why we keep seeing these things over water and then things that dive into the water. And, we when you're talking miles deep, literally, it lends itself to the old saying about we know more about the surface of the moon than we do the surface of the ocean floor. And in my belief that if something could travel light years, I mean, to me, that's still almost an impossibility. But if something were to be here that had traveled centuries ago or millennia ago, and had established itself one way or the other, to me that makes a lot more sense. And of course, every time you come out with a new theory or new observation on the UFO or USOs, as this case is, it's always downplayed. But when you talk to people that have seen them, it's or had seen them on radar or sonar, as the case may be, under the water, to me, it lends a lot of credibility to that subject.
So you've been told what exactly about these large objects moving underwater at high speed? What were you told specifically?
Well, just the mystery of it, and the rechecking and double checking of their facts, and in fact that they were, and they've been told to keep quiet, and the usual things that you hear. But still, you have to ask yourself, why are we being told to keep quiet? Why the secrecy? And it lends itself to Washington in itself. It's about power. It's about control. It's about secrecy. And therein lies some of the power and control over all of us. And I suspect all governments across the globe are the same way.
One of the things you've spoken about is the speculation of underwater bases, not human bases, but bases by non-human entities. What can you tell me about what you've been told?
Well, that the concentration would be such that that's where they would be, and that we have not been able to explore any of these areas just because of you saw the sub that went under a few, I don't know, maybe it was not even a year ago, that literally imploded just because of the incredible pressure. So there's a lot of questions of that, and you figure if something can travel at 200 miles an hour underwater, that it would have the capabilities to withstand that incredible pressure. So, Matt Gaetz, a guy I was in Congress with before, now has gone on to his own career outside of politics in in the media, which I guess he reports on politics. Can't really ever escape it. But it's he himself had several conversations dealing with that because he represented an area that had most of the a lot of naval bases and a lot of our military bases, and in fact that led to his curiosity over the same thing. But if you just look at the numbers of sightings out over the ocean, it just seems to lend itself to that. And if you wanted to be undisturbed, where you wouldn't go in the middle of New York City or Knoxville, Tennessee, you'd go, although there's some strange things I've seen here, you would go where you would be least disturbed. And so the most unexplored area and the vastness of our great oceans is kind of hard to comprehend at some point.
You've speculated about 5 or 6 bases of non-human entities. Where did you get that number from?
From some Navy officials that had, in fact, had broached that subject to me. I always remember the last thing this one fellow said, because you've been in my office, but you come in one door and you can go out the other if you choose. And nobody ever does. They just go out the entrance they came up. He chose to go out the other door so he could kind of get away from all the other. And the last thing he said was, he looked at me and said, "Tim, they're real." And I'll never forget that. And it led me to believe that he had more information. And of course, the walls have ears, as you know. And that's why a lot of people want to talk to me out on the street or come to my house here in Tennessee, here to the farm, and talk to me about those things.
And to be very clear about this, Tim, what you're saying is that these objects underwater, these bases underwater, they are non-human. You're clear about that?
That would be my belief, yes, sir. We don't have the capabilities of traveling there or doing anything else. But again, I can't tell you how many Navy folks I talked to. One of the first times I was on a TV show when I first got elected, talking about just UFOs. I refuse to call them whatever UAPs. I just to me that confuses people. But a friend of mine that I'd served in the legislature with, who was in the Navy in the 50s, had seen me on a television show and had called me. He's retired, and had a incredible conversation about an encounter that he'd had, how this thing had out in the middle of the ocean had come upon them. And the interesting thing about it was the description he gave was very similar to what a description that that an actual naval officer gave me and wanted me to know about. Just, it was just, he caught me on the phone, and I called him back. He was surprised that I ever even called him back. But, that's what I do a lot of, is calling folks back. And the similarities were so, these people didn't know each other. Obviously, this guy was he was a draftee. He was drafted. No, I'm sorry, he enlisted. And then, this naval officer who'd served, it was 30 years apart, but it described some very particular things about this craft that was and it was in deep water areas. And so and since then I've heard similar stories, and the color, the lack of noise, just everything was just so similar. And to me that lends itself to a lot. And I suspect if somebody did some studies, I don't have the capabilities of doing that. Frankly, I don't need to believe it. But I bet the statistics would show that you would have a higher propensity over these deep water areas than you would anywhere else.
Are you able to share any of the details of the specifics of what he said he saw, or that he was?
Yeah, the color, grayish blue. And oddly enough, they were both the classic saucer size, the saucer shape, and with the dome on top. But the size, the large. He said this thing was, I remember he said, "Timbo, that thing was." He's kind of country like me, and he said, he's a very successful guy. He said that thing was it was a city block if it was a foot long, and the officer described it of I think he said 200 to 300 feet, which the size of a football field, obviously. And again, I guess I go back to the thought that if something came here, that the place they would go would be the water, and they could stay there and their base of operation. And they might just, I don't know if they live there or not, but I think the more we explore, the more these things become visible. And that's exactly what you're seeing now. The more we fly, the more we're under the water, the more we investigate, the more these things are becoming visible.
Tim, the thing that I find profoundly disturbing is whatever these objects are, they're clearly monitoring us. They're watching us. There's people I've spoken to who've described these objects taking a very close interest in the nuclear attack submarines of both Russia and the United States, aircraft carriers being completely disabled by some electromagnetic interference. This is we concerned that there does appear to be this monitoring going on.
I think we should, but the thing is that when you talk to some of the, they have these. We monitor our military and have civilians that work within these things, and there's a tone.
Con. So that's Tim Burchett. He is a congressman in Tennessee talking about chariots, Okay, King, you want to play this one too? Yeah, Con.
Okay, everyone is talking about the 7-foot-tall black aliens. I am about to show you the actual clip from the interview, and this is Norman Bergen. Yes, he used to work for NASA. He used to work for Lockheed. He has some pretty amazing credentials. He actually passed away in 2018. He also has a book called Ringmakers of Saturn. There are tons of pictures and photographs in this book, but the book reveals that NASA's Voyager 1 and 2 space probes took photographs of an estimated 7,000-mile-long elliptical cigar-shaped craft orbiting within the rings of Saturn. Now, in his book, there's actually 2 of these objects. You know what else was cigar-shaped? The second interstellar object, 2I Borisov. Now, you're going to hear the interviewer at the end mention this guy's name, and we'll get to him after.
Positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us.
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard, and they have a picture there of I think it's the Apollo flight that Bugs and Neil were on. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off.
Not dark, black.
Black skin.
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but I'd say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Have you ever been in touch with him?
No.
No?
Now, the reason she asked him about Clark's statement was because he said something very similar. He claims that in 1991, he saw an alien that was humanoid in form, stood on 2 legs, and approached 2 NASA astronauts in the cargo bay of a space shuttle. Norman said 7 feet was being modest, and Clark said they were about 9 feet. Now, Clark claimed that the government stripped him of his pension and forced him to live on Social Security. He passed away in 2021, and this year, they had an estate auction. You guys, I went and looked up the auction. Some of this stuff sold for like $100. It included museum quality collections of original photographs spanning nearly 40 space missions. He worked for NASA for 34 years. And not just at Cape Canaveral, he also did projects at Johnson Space Center in Texas. Here's just a sample of some of the photographs that were in that auction. Now, before I go, I'm going to leave you with one more clip from that interview.
Seen one on the ground in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any tall whites on that chariot right there, so-called UFO, or the Palladians. You know what I'm saying? Esau is so racist. He just has to, everything has to be about race. You know what I'm saying? So even where space is 90% carbon, just black, he's saying that the only people out there are aliens that are white. That's just the way he is. You know what I'm saying? But we know the truth. We know what the scriptures say. Ezekiel 1:7, you know, lets us know what the angels really look like. And there's no disputing it, okay? But keep in mind that they're walking on earth right now, okay? And judgment is taking place all across the earth. So it's best to be on your best behavior, okay? Because there's people, quote unquote, people that are walking by you that can read your mind. You know what I'm saying? And it's only going to get worse for 2/3 the heathens, other nations, Edomites, Amalek, all that. All right. So stay focused. We're in the last days. Hours, minutes. You get what I'm saying. All right, let's the last video. Not the last video. Don't want to put the video on now. Let's get the scripture first. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. Right? It's some things that, what's a lot of things really, that our ancestors knew that through slavery, through the process of time, that we forgot. We forgot. We weren't taught. It was taken from us, ripped away from us. But as we are coming back to our true nationality, our true culture, what we should be doing, following the law, statutes, commandments, the importance of fasting, we're learning about that. The importance of aromatherapy, we're learning about that. The frankincense and myrrh, purifying the air. We're learning about wearing the same fabrics. You know what I mean? All these things that are in the scriptures and the law, you know, we're finding out again. So knowledge is being increased. Let's get that. Daniel 12:4.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
So we're learning about ourselves, our culture, what our ancestors have done. And one thing, you know, this is the health segment of the Wednesday Wake Up Call, is the small things that we were doing, you know, grandma was doing, mom might have been doing, great-grandma was doing, that sustained us. You know what I'm saying? Here we are, we're here. You know, they lived long enough to pass on the genes to us. You know, we talked about like castor oil and Epsom salt and soaking your feet, and you know what I mean, using that type of therapy to you know, take out toxins out of your body, so forth and so on. So now the latest, what a lot of people are talking about is baking soda, right? Now, of course, we got to say, you know, this isn't medical advice. You know, the guy that's about to speak is a doctor, so let him say what he has to say. Some things, you know, as far as the stomach acid goes, you know what I mean? You got to be on point with that. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say nothing. Let's let him talk. I ain't no doctor. Let's see what he got to say. All right. Enjoy this last segment. And baking soda, it could take out the daggone pharmaceutical company. You know what I mean? With all the things it has. Go ahead, Ken. You can play.
Welcome, everyone. Dr. Mandel here. Today, I'm going to share some health benefits of baking soda. There are many things that you could be doing at home naturally, non-invasively, to help your body repair and heal. Baking soda is also known as sodium bicarbonate. We think it's baking soda for baking, but you're going to be shocked the positive benefits that you can gain by using this for your health. When it comes to heartburn, this baking soda can do wonders for you. This sodium bicarbonate will neutralize the stomach acid, particularly if you're having that reflux from overeating, stress, or eating greasy or spicy foods. Dissolving 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water can be very productive in correcting that acid reflux. It's very effective as a mouthwash as well. It will freshen your breath as it provides antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. Just a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda to a 1/2 glass of warm water, and then swish and gargle. So if you sweat a lot and you notice that odor underneath your armpits, that is bacteria from the acidic waste products that's giving you that odor. So by just patting a little baking soda underneath your armpits, you will see a major difference. Baking soda will help relieve your itchy skin and even sunburns. You can make a baking soda bath by adding 1 to 2 cups of baking soda to a lukewarm bath. So take about 10-15 minutes and soak in that warm water. Many of us develop calluses under our feet from poor footwear. That constant friction and pressure causes these calluses to grow. Soaking your feet with baking soda and water can soften up those calluses and help remove that discomfort. Brushing your teeth with water and baking soda can help remove those stubborn stains on your teeth. Baking soda is a wonderful ingredient to help banish acne and pimples on your skin. It is safe to be used on the face as well after it is diluted with water. Baking soda helps dry out the pimples, and its antibacterial property helps prevent further breakouts on your skin. If you're one that suffers with canker sores within your mouth region, creating a paste by mixing baking soda with small drops of water until a thick consistency results. Use this paste to cover the canker sores, which will help relieve your pain. This will also help the mouth heal quickly, as the alkalinity and antibacterial properties will take effect. If you're suffering from UTIs, urinary tract infections, baking soda will help detoxify your kidneys, which stops the infection from spreading there and causing damage. Dissolving 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of baking soda in water and drinking it on an empty stomach can combat many of these problems. Doing this daily has been known to help many people with these conditions. So I hope this video can be useful for you and your loved ones. Please share this with your friends and family. Leave your comments below, and most important, make it a great day.
So there it is. You know what I'm saying? Baking soda, $2. You get $2. You get a thing of baking soda. All those different things to help. You know what I mean? Pharmaceutical companies, they don't like things like that. You know what I mean? And that's from a doctor. I ain't no doctor. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, with teeth. Baking soda's you know, it's a little cheat sheet right there. All right. And you ain't breaking the bank to get it.
That's right.
All right. So that is the lesson. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of the only begotten Son who world alien calls Jesus Christ. You see it. It's the last days. Stay focused. There's plagues all around this earth. It is going down. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, that's the chariot coming back to save the game. It's a bloodline thing, we not the same. You think this shit a game? We about to rage, look in the sky, blue beam movie, distraction from what's really happening. All these heathens, they astonished. Look at the lights and look at the violence, look at the weather, look at the power. They got spacecraft, no real pilot. They tryna break through when they wildin'. When the land break through, y'all gon' be silent. He coming back for who really solid. Surrounded by water in a dome that's solid. Glass jar, hard bars. I'm in predictions like Bart Simpson. Far down below. Protect your soul. We in it.